Thank you for joining. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back to Talvon Talks. My name is Kareem Talvon Hutchinson. I will be discussing addiction on today. Addiction is a very, 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 very serious matter. Whether you're a functioning addict, whether you're want to call yourself of moderation of a certain drug, it's all addiction. There's just levels of it. You can have a social drinker that only drinks on the weekend. They get belligerently drunk. Then they go about their day during Monday through Friday. We call it social drinking. Is it social drinking? I just want to shed light on addiction. Like I said, I'm not here to attack. I'm not here to offend. Addiction has been very close to me all of my life. I am not sure the reason why. However, I do feel as though that God is allowing me to shed light on addiction. Like I said, it has been very, very close to me. I have lost a best friend to addiction. Her name was Leslie. We will discuss Leslie. I have a father that is still struggling with the addiction of alcohol. I also am very proud of him because he has reframed mentally, and this is where it begins, from the addiction of cocaine. And these are some serious allegations. However, they are factual. This is not to point the finger at me and my life. However, I believe that growth is inevitable through life experiences with knowledge and understanding in life experiences. This is my slogan here on Talvon Talks, and it is true. If you don't learn from your mistakes, if you don't gain wisdom through other people's situations, how are you to make a change? So for those of you that say, how can you put your family out in the light like that? It is what it is. Everyone has a family member, a friend that is struggling with alcoholism, that's struggling with cocaine abuse, that is struggling with being what society calls a crack addict. I don't like to use those terms. They are and can be offensive. I would just like to say that, they're dealing with things that are way bigger than them. Now, if you break it down, if you look at addiction, we can say that addiction affects the mind, it affects the mental, it affects individuals, it affects not only you, but it affects everyone around you. You may not notice it, you may not feel it, you may be even in denial that it's not happening. However, it is happening. If you are someone that is struggling with abuse, I advise that you get help, whether it is on a milestone where it is very, very small, or whether it is very, very big, because anything that is small grows to something that is big, and anything big can be reduced. You just have to open up your mouth and get help. That's where it starts. Admitting that you have an issue. I am 31 years old. My father has struggled with patterns of abuse when it comes to incarceration, and that is in and out of jail before I was born, while my mother was pregnant with me, after I was born, and throughout my entire life. I have received, light letters in the mail during incarceration. However, when the incarceration is over, I don't hear from that person. Now, up to date, we do have a relationship now that I am very, very appreciative of. I have been able to see the goods of my father, and I have been able to see some of the rocky side. With all that being said, like I said, everyone is a work in progress. I am glad that he is mentally off of some of the harder drugs. However, the alcohol still remains to be an issue in his life in 50% of the world. 50% of the world, and this is not factual, I'm making just an educated guess, but there is a lot more people that struggle with alcohol abuse than there is anything. And I'm not going to say any other things because I'm not going to say pretty much the worser of the two evils. If it's an addiction, if it's something that someone's struggling with, it's a struggle, it's an abuse, it's an addiction. One is not better than the other. So it becomes unfortunate when you have kids, when you are a parent and you're struggling with addiction and they are watching you from a distance and you are just doing your own thing. And I'm just speaking in general. It's just becomes unfortunate that those traits and those behaviors are passed down to maybe some that are not mentally strong enough to put the bottle down, some that maybe are not mentally strong to not do those things, some that may be not mentally strong or have the backbone to say, no, I'm not going to do this anymore. Alcoholism is very hereditary on my father's side. I don't, as of right now, I'm a social drinker. I don't like to get, I do get drunk. I mean, who doesn't? And I mean, you may not be a drinker, but I'm speaking for myself. I do drink. I am a social drinker. I think that it's okay for me to be a social drinker. Like I said, I am my individual own person. So if your situation is different, if you may have seen alcohol abuse that was very, very close to you and you are doing those things and you find yourself increasing and maybe you find yourself going more towards the bottle or more towards things to cope, then yes, I would say that you have a slight issue that needs to be addressed. And like I said, this is just to shed light on what are you doing, your decisions, because your decisions affect you. Your decisions affect you as well as the loved ones around you. Once you get to that point, there's more that has to be done that you may or may not be strong enough to deal with to bring back into your control. So why allow those things to get out of control? And to specifically speak on myself, I have dealt with addiction myself. No one is perfect. I have dealt with addiction in the past with marijuana. I am very, very energetic. For those that do know me, for those that do not know me, I am very, very energetic. As you can see right now, I am channeling myself. However, I do speak at a fast pace. I am from up north where getting those drugs are, and those heavy drugs and those also lightweight drugs that people say that are not drugs. For an example, marijuana, people like to look at that like it's not a drug or it's a light drug or that's not the same as meth. No, it's not the same, but it's still a drug. Like if you're going to do something, admit to what you're doing, realize what you're doing, take responsibility, and then go from there. If you want to smoke, be a smoker. Just know the consequences that are going to come. Heart attack, cancer, bad breath, skin irritation, skin discoloration. Like, know what these things are doing to your body, okay? Like, if you're going to do something, know what you are doing. I'm not one to say that, hey, you shouldn't drink. Go ahead and drink if you want to. Do it in moderation. Is it in your control? That's all I ask. What you are doing on a daily basis, is it in your control? And if it's not in your control, how can you get it into your control? If it's not in your control, is it out of control? Is it a problem? Is it an issue? Is it something that you need to address? Is it something that you need to have a conversation with yourself? Is this affecting my productivity? Which marijuana was affecting my productivity. Marijuana was keeping me in the bed when I could have been doing other things. I could have been progressing my life. I could have been writing my books. I could have been doing this. That may be another separate total topic, but I am going to say that YouTube did save my life. Me making the decision to empower, educate, entertain other people and not be so in tune to what's going on with me, yes, it deterred my life on a platform positively to where I am not allowing these things and these entities, as far as marijuana, drugs, cigarettes, all of those things, affect me as a person, affect me as an individual, affect me on what I am doing and would like to do. I didn't go to school to accomplish my associate's degree in culinary, my bachelor's degree in business, my master's degree just to still be addicted, just to still be stagnant, just to still be cliche. So yes, there was a transitional point in time that, yes, when I was finished with school, I turned to things, drugs. Let's get it straight. Let's keep it 100. I turned to drugs. I turned to marijuana to as a relaxation. However, that relaxation became my MO. That relaxation became my daily. That relaxation became a 2 and 3 and 4 or 5 times a day thing. That hobby turned into a $300 to $400 bill every month. Like, come on now, that's excessive. That's way too much. What are you doing to your body? What are you doing to your lungs? What are you doing to your skin? You know, as you can see now, my skin is beautiful. It's clearing up. I went cold turkey, stopping tobacco products, stopping marijuana, getting those things in my control. If they're not in your control, what can you do to get them in your control? That's all I ask. I'm not asking for people to stop. Now, if that's a choice that you know that you need to do, go ahead and take those steps. That way you're not taking this point in time here, talking to me under my feed. Instead, you're taking this time to learn, be encouraged, make certain decisions instead of having this same sit down with a therapist, having this same sit down with an AA meeting, having this same sit down with a counselor, having this same sit down with a psychologist. Those people are set in place for your healing. Those people are set in place for your transition. However, if you can do it on your own, why not do them on your own? Because if you can't do them on your own, then what's going to come next that's going to deter you from your life? What's going to come next that's going to get you off of track, that's not going to get you to your next level? It's all about empowerment. It's all about encouragement. It's not about perfection. It's not about pointing the finger. It's not about being offensive. Where are you now? Where do you want to be? Where have you been? Think of those questions and do an entire data reset on yourself. Self-reflection. Okay? I had to, and this happens, you know, I didn't understand before, but I had to let certain people go. I had to let certain situations go. I had to move away from certain environments because I realized that because of my level of love for that person, my level of care for that person was way beyond myself and that person. You also can't help someone that does not want to help themselves. Also, if there's someone that has hurt you and they're out of your life, leave them out of your life. Don't bring them back. For what? To get re-hurt, to get reinfected, to feel that pain all over again? Even if you feel as though you can move on, that's your prerogative. However, when people that do you wrong, when people that cause you pain leave your life, do not dwell on it. They left for a reason. They were only in your life for a season. Stop talking about them. Stop allowing them people to have power over you. If you are constantly telling the same stories about how, oh, they hurt me, oh, they was this, oh, they was that, I was there for them, let it go. Let it go. Because as long as you hold on to that, you are not allowing yourself to mentally move forward. You are not allowing yourself to physically move forward. You are not allowing yourself to grow. You are stagnant. You are in a pattern to where your mind is retracting. The same way that a woman gives birth to a child and their uterus contracts, It's pushing something out. It's saying that it's ready. It's saying that it's time to let this go. It's giving birth to something bigger than you. Now that's the positive. But allowing a negative to contract your mind, that's keeping it stagnant. That's holding on to those things. That's giving birth in toxicity to failure, giving power and producing toxicity towards your notion to not be capable of living. My best friend Leslie, gotta take a breath on this one, y'all. My best friend Leslie was someone that meant a lot to me. I met her as him. She's a transsexual. When I met him, he was a good person. Things perspired. Also, guys, let me just go ahead and tie in some things. Leslie is the same person of the best friend that was one of the people whom may have had a hand in my contracting HIV. Now, me saying all that is just to highlight how people are not just in your life for a season, but they are in your life for a reason. Now, come on now, y'all got to stay with me, okay? Y'all got to stay with me. Religiously, I believe that God places people in your life and he allows things to happen. I think that if I did not have certain things happen to me, that I would be doing the same things. I totally, wholeheartedly believe that. Also, people that have watched this channel in the beginning, I did highlight my friend Cedric, whom passed away. And that was also another best friend of mine whom struggled with sexual addiction, that lost his life through that environment and through that lifestyle. So follow me while I highlight these entities in my circle to bring a full picture together of why I am the way I am, why I say the things that I say, why I am shedding light on certain topics and just speaking in this manner, period. Okay? Because everything starts like a grain of salt. Okay? A small tumor is not a tumor like this until you allow it to fester for years and months. Okay? And so those situations festered on these individuals for days and months and years as their problems, as their situations, as their environments became to worsen. Okay? So I met Leslie. I love Leslie to death still to this day. We do not talk anymore like we used to. This is where growth comes into play. I never understood the terminology or the quote that two entities cannot set under the sun and the moon. Now, if you are a religious person, that you know that the sun and the moon is completely different. They come out at different times of the night. The sun being Christians, the moon being evildoers, sinful people, worldly people. Okay, I don't like to use those terms, but I'm going to put those terms out there just to help you understand where I'm coming from. So they always say that, and I never was a believer that's that's a fact. How can you say that and then you're still trying to be a Christian, or you may want to be a Christian and bring people to Christ, or bring people to their through their situations and through their problems to success, to their journeys to where they're no longer struggling, but they say don't do that because they say that one can pull you down, or one can take you to where they're going, meaning the person that is trying to help them out, maybe they're deterring them, maybe they're having the effect on them. Yes, if you are with them, partying with them, like living their lifestyle, yes, that is a fact. And even sometimes on a lower level, or just groundbreaking, let's just look at it like even if you're speaking with them on a daily, and then they're speaking of the same things, or everything is negative, then yes, it will affect you. You're going to be thinking it. You're going to be thinking negative, and you're going to be speaking those pessimistic things as well. So yes, I do understand that even your circle, people, they say, show me your friends, and then show me your circle, and then you can know about a person. That is all very true. However, my mind ain't like nobody else's. I'm not you. I'm not them. So why do you feel like, or why does society feel like one can't go into an environment and not survive, or one can't go into an environment and not participate? Like, for instance, they would say, why would, and this is probably excessive. Y'all know my analogies are real crazy, but I'm just going to put it out there. They say, why would a preacher go into a strip club? Yes, that's oxymoronic, but if he has reasonings, or whatever it is, or then that might. Now, of course, if you see the preacher in there, he's throwing ones, okay, we got an issue. You know what I mean? I'm just putting examples out there, but you all know what I mean. I'm just saying, if there's a reason, or if they're there, allow them to be there. Ask questions last. See what so let me just move on. I just wanted to provide that those few examples that and I was in that situation at one point. I feel as though that I can participate and be in certain environments without acting on those feelings that I used to have before, or maybe you are only as strong as you. If you feel as though that you're strong, or you are strong enough to deal with a certain environment, feel free. Maybe you're doing something totally different. Now, it's not smart. It's not totally smart. You don't send a baby into a candy store. You know what I mean? So you don't send someone into an environment to where they used to struggle with, to maybe set them back. That's not the smartest decision. However, like I said, my mind works very, very differently. The things that I do and how I maneuver has always been very, very, very different. Okay, so I'm just going to continue. Leslie was very, very close to me, and Leslie only drunk. She only consumed the bottle. She only smoked. She only did light, regular things. Now, alcoholism is hereditary on Leslie's father's side, as well as my father's side. I wouldn't say so much on the mother's side, more definitely on the father's side. And of those that you who know, alcoholism is hereditary. It's funny, like I said, even some of the things that my father does, I was not raised around him. I was raised by a single parent, and you all know that from some of my previous videos. So it's like, why am I doing some of the similar things that he does? It's hereditary. Even the emotions, the anger that your parents may have had, all of that is hereditary. People don't understand that there's certain things that are just hereditary, that you start picking up and you don't know why you're doing them, and it's because it's hereditary. There are certain things that are hereditary. Like I said, you don't have to see it. You don't have to see it. You didn't have to be around the person. It's hereditary in your blood, in your psychic, in you. My body on my father's side is hereditary towards the consumption of alcohol. So even when, I consume liquor, I'll get drunk, I'll drink and stuff like that. But I notice that if I start kind of leaning towards that more often, or I start increasing, because I'm not going to lie, as I'm getting older, I have noticed that my tolerance for liquor has increased. So it's just these little things that you have to know about yourself, that you have to be mindful of, that you have to be observant. And no one, I should trust and believe that no one will scale themselves the way that I do. No one will think about these things. And if you do think about those things, you don't act on them. So I'm here to point and shed light on these situations, to just say that, be mindful of what you're doing and how you're doing it. Okay? So me and Leslie have known each other for 12 years plus, 12 years plus. And it was just a relationship that I really cherished. But if I really think about it, of course, I was at that point in my mess. So the things that me and Leslie used to do may probably, and not may, they were not good for my growth as of now. Now, I could probably go ahead and end the story right there and say, well, there you go. This is probably the reason why God removed her out of your picture. And yes, that's a factor, but I'm going to continue to go because that's what I have pulled away from it. However, I would like to continue to speak on this topic to showcase other things that may have that you may have similar in your life, that you may have seen that you may see that's an issue or a problem, and you can go ahead and take those steps to becoming a better person and to move on for growth. And you know what? I felt as though that I was a good friend, and now looking at it, I realized that I was a selfish friend. I realized that the things that I wanted to do, I always did, and when it came to the things that she wanted to do, or the things that maybe she was interested in, yes, I was interested in them as well, but I'm not gonna lie, a lot of it was one-sided. Now that is because my friend did live through me. Now, I can say that because she has told me that before. I have seen it firsthand. And then you have to also realize what does it mean when someone is living through you. It doesn't mean that they have to be jealous or they have to be envious, but anyone that lives through you, they are big on the next thing that you're doing. They are observant. They are paying attention to your every move. And maybe even not that close, but they're watching you. It's they're watching you. And there was an age difference. However, this person had all of the potential in the world to do whatever she wanted to do. And I feel as though that the friends that she allowed to be around, I feel like the friends that she allowed around and the friends that she was around and the environment that she was in literally pulled her into a lifestyle of drug abuse to the point to where no coming back. Now, God is God. Because at this point, while I'm speaking right now, she could be getting herself back together. But I'm going to say on the surface that, and allegedly, she's not a celebrity. I'm not going to get sued, but at the end of the day, I would like to respect people's wishes, and I don't like to assume. However, the last conversation and the last situation, and from the facts that I know, this person is still struggling from a major drug addiction that is very, very heightened, and with the collection of alcoholism, cocaine, now crack, and meth at one point. So when you're at this point, and when you're at a level that you're trying to consume drugs just to cope with life, just to take away the pain, just to deal with life in itself, and then it becomes just to feed your addiction because now you're addicted, what can you do? It starts off with decisions. Literally, I was there as the person made a decision to go from being an alcoholic, a belligerent drunk, a belligerent alcoholic. This person did not like how she acted when she was drunk, belligerent, sloppy. So they began to dibble and dabble in drugs. And yes, cocaine is a high. And I don't know personally. Now, I have took ecstasy before in my day. I've taken ecstasy. Ecstasy does have cocaine in it. At that point in time, I did not know it had ecstasy in it. I have tried shrooms before. I probably didn't have the correct ones because I felt as though it didn't do anything for me. And it's just crazy when you're in situations, and even the people that are offering these things to you, and the people that are giving it to you, or even allowing you to try something that you can never come back from, are older than you. This person was actually one of my uncle's friends, and they shall remain nameless, and nobody knows which side, so it'll be hard to figure it out, even my friends and family. And even for my friends and family that watch my videos, please do not ask questions about who, because my privacy is my privacy, and their privacy is their privacy. Anyone who also does any videos with me, any interviews with me, or decides to have public performances with their situations, don't ask questions to be nosy, okay, guys? Please do not ask questions to wonder who and why. Take this as a learning movement and move on. With that being said, I'm going to continue. But yes, I was offered shrooms from my uncle's friend, and I think I was, like I said, to be honest, I'm going to just go ahead and take responsibility. I probably asked. I probably was all in his face wondering what it is. But to make the decision and give it to somebody or whatever like that is one thing. You know what I mean? I'm not blaming or doubting that person, because if I consumed it, evidently I had to take the responsibility, use my fingertips and grab it, or allow somebody to put it to. Yes, but if I allow somebody to put something to my mouth, which I have never allowed, if I have taken my fingers and I have taken it, then I am taking responsibility. I am making the clear, conscious decisions that this is what I am doing. This is what I'm getting ready to consume. Alcohol, crack, cocaine, sniffing it to your nose. You are making the clear, conscious decision that this can be something that you can never come back from. You are making the clear, conscious decision that you are ready to deal with facing the facts that you could be hooked for life. Everybody wants to blame the disease. Everybody wants to blame the symptoms. Everybody wants to be in denial, but no one blames the individual. No one looks at the individual and say, hey, this is a mistake. This is a decision that you made that you have to turn around. No one does that. Yes, when you're going through it, it is the disease. It is the sickness. You are now addicted. You are now using alcoholism to cope. You are now being belligerent. This is now how people choose to see, to say this is who you are. So you're getting a pass. You made a decision, and now you expect for people to just accept who you are, just to accept the pain, just to accept the fact that this is you. When will it be you that makes the decision to change? When will it be you to make the decision to say, hey, I take full responsibility of what I've done for the past A, B, C, D years. I take full responsibility of picking this thing up. I take full responsibility. Put it on your shoulders. And let's not get it twisted. Addiction is addiction. It's not always alcoholism. It's not always crack. It's not always cocaine. What about the addiction of stability? Constantly moving around, constantly uprooting your life, constantly uprooting your family. Yes, you're giving them exposure, and let me just go ahead and put it down to terms or whatever like that. There's people in my circle and people in my life that are struggling with addiction and is struggling with stability issues and struggling with a mind and a patternalized way of thinking, to where you're stagnant yourself. You're not allowing yourself to move on because the next decision that you want to make is the same one that you made a year ago, is the same one that you made 6 months ago. Is it different? You're saying I'm not the same. You're saying I'm not doing the same things, but are you? Yes, when you become and you gain a pattern, it's hard to break. So getting out of that pattern creates another pattern that seems similar to the one that you've already been going down. So sometimes people may write you off. Some people, they might look at you like, oh, they're doing the same thing. He's not different. Don't allow your left hand to tell your right hand what you're doing. Don't tell everybody what you're doing. Don't tell everybody what you're working on. Don't tell everybody, oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Just show and prove. I've always been the biggest advocate of that. I didn't finish high school. You would think with all these degrees that I finished high school, I had the perfect picture. I didn't. I didn't walk. Being a child that moved around every year of their lives, with credits being sprawled all around from whatever state. The 10th grade told me that I would have to repeat. Who? You're not going to stagnate me because of a decision that other people made for me as a child. Because yes, I was a child being moved around every year of my life, while my mother did the best that she could as a single parent with vouchers, with being on welfare, moving around every year. Whether she had reasons or not, I am very wealthy mentally, and I'm going to be very wealthy financially in the near future. Multiple streams of income are on their way. Multiple streams of income are here now. So there's nothing that she did that was wrong. Now, the decisions that she made were the decisions that she made, and I wouldn't doubt her on any of those decisions because I'm here now. And I'm dealing with the now. I'm not dealing with the past. I'm dealing with the present, and I'm dealing with the future. Someone told me that it's good to, and actually my mom told me this. My mom told me this and someone told her this. So I just think that it's great to pass on knowledge. It's good to not focus on the past, but the present. And it's good to not so much focus on the future, but the present. If you focus too much on the past, you'll stagnate yourself to where you're thinking about, oh, what I used to do. Oh, I used to have this big old mansion. For those of you that, lost everything or may have lost everything. Oh, I used to have this big old house. I used to have all this money. What do you have now? And if you don't have it, go get it. And if you can't go get it, go look for it. Because once you look, once you knock, that door will be open for you. Like, come on now. I'm not preaching. I'm educating. I'm encouraging. I'm empowering. I like to think of myself as an emotional philanthropist. A philanthropist, if you look it up, is a person that donates money into your life, is a financial advocate for an individual. However, I'm not being a financial advocate for any individual. I am being an emotional advocate, and I'm being a mental advocate towards the perception of people and their minds and where they're going in the long haul, in their journeys. I'm pushing people into their success. I'm pushing because that's always what I've done. I've always been a leader. God has always put me on a pedestal, has always put me in the forefront. He will never allow you to have too much on your plate. He will never bring you to something that you can't get through. He will never bring you through something without it being a light for someone else, helping someone else. You know, back in the day, we had grandma and mama and nana and all them people and stuff like that. Oh, don't tell. What goes on in this house stays in this house. It's the same stuff that's going on in everybody else's house. They just don't know that you're going through it. Why not talk about it? Why not laugh about it? Why not shed light to it? Bring humor to it. That's how I get through everything. I laugh about everything. It might be, I would rather laugh than cry. Yes, it's good to cry too. But for the majority, I look at situations and I look at it in that humor light. I take it and I laugh about it. My own situations, I look at it because it's like, if you don't laugh, like I said, what can you do? You're going to stay depressed. You're going to stay in your situation. You're going to stay stagnant. And it's okay sometimes not to be okay. Jesse J wrote this song. Oh my God, I'm so random, y'all, but at least I can tell you all and address it, okay, and not just be all over the place. Jesse J wrote this song that it's okay not to be okay, and the song is called Don't Lose. I'm not sure of the actual title, but the lyrics are, don't lose who you are. Don't lose who you are in the world. And don't quote me on all the lyrics. In the world, I believe, of stars. And it's seeing is believing, but believing is seeing. It's okay not to be okay. Sometimes it's hard to follow your heart. And then she repeats the chorus, seeing is believing, believing is, So check out the lyrics, the actual lyrics. Check out the actual song. Be encouraged. What is another song? That was just one song that was on my mind right then and there. Check out another one, Mary J. Blige, Each Tear, okay? Oh, y'all know Mary J. Blige is powerful. Mary J. Blige, Each Tear. Each tear, there's a lesson, okay? So every time you cry, there's a lesson. It makes you wiser than before. It makes you stronger than you know. Each tear, there's a lesson. Okay. Oh, I love that song. Wait a minute. I love that song, y'all. Wait a minute. I want to sing it now. I want to hear it. Oh my gosh. I'm not going to lie, but I'm getting a little bit of teary-eyed just because of that song. And just like the happiness that I'm getting right now. Just the emotions that I'm pouring out. Okay. This is Talvon Talks. My name is Kareem Talvon Hutchinson. And I always thank you all for being encouraged, for being empowered, and for being entertained. There is a lot of stuff on my YouTube channel that I am showcasing, and that's all entities in all genres of me. I love to dance. I love to sing. I love to write. I know who I am. I know where I was. I know where I came from. I know where I'm going. I might not know everything of what I want to do in the next 2 or 3 years. I might not know everything that's going to transpire, but for the majority, I know exactly what I want to do. And I don't know where God is going to lead me, but I did this channel and I am doing this to educate. And I said that it's going to purge my spirit. It's going to purge my soul. All of these things that are in me, all of these things that I may have think about in the past or that are on me, I would like to get off of me. Okay. And with doing that, it is healing me. And then when other people watch it, it's going to heal you all. And even if it's not, it's going to empower someone. And even if it's not, it's going to take on its own journey when it feels like it. I'm not in it for the subscribers. I'm not in it for the money. I'm making my own money on the side. I'm a chef. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm an author. So I don't need money from YouTube, okay? I don't need 1 million subscribers. I don't need to be in a public platform to where everyone is looking at me. Everyone is veered in on me and what I am doing, because that is what I've always ran from. But hey, if I'm doing it, if it does happen, then so be it. I've always been a public speaker when I was young, and I've always been pushed to the forefront on being a leader. So why not? So getting back to Leslie and our story, it's just on the surface, I had a beautiful relationship. I had a best friend that I would never, ever take for granted. And I was able to see love on a totally different light or whatever, and that shows you love right there. When you have information that someone hurt you or they gave you something or you contracted something serious like that, and you still love this person, you still carry a relationship with this person for years on end after that. Like, I don't care about the facts. Like, I'm my own person. I brought those things on myself, and in return, I gained a beautiful relationship. I gained an entire family that, which is her family, that still love and care for me, that still reach out to me, that I still talk to, and it just goes to show, you know, the beauty of life, the beauty of friendships, the beauty of the journey, the beauty of networking, the beauty of just living and learning. Okay? It's just so beautiful when you realize the things that God has for you, and when you realize just what you have gone through in your own life. It doesn't have to be just negative. Even if it was all negative, what is the positive? Where are you now? What did you get out of it? Did you get anything out of it? If you didn't, that's on you. Like, a lot of this stuff, I like to try to channel myself, and I like to be positive and not pessimistic. But the real me, I'm like, who did it? Why? Sometimes I don't sugarcoat stuff. I had to talk to my friends like, you know what you need to be doing. Why did you do that? Like, the same thing with me, holding people accountable. You know they're not supposed to be doing this. Why are you allowing them to do it? Why are you giving them power? Why are you even entertaining them when they come out of their mouth with saying some of the things that they used to do before, or maybe that they still do, or maybe that they're thinking about? Because when something's on somebody's tongue, it's in their mind. If you say it, you're thinking about it. So if they're thinking about alcohol and they're thinking about drugs and they're not supposed to be doing, why are you not allowing them to why are you not saying something? You not saying something is digging their 6 feet grave. It's helping to, at least. At least if you say it on a platform or say it to them and then never vow to say it again, you can at least cleanse your spirit, cleanse you at peace, and say, hey, if there was nothing else I did, at least I said this. At least I tried to stop my so-and-so from doing this. At least I tried to help so-and-so from doing that. So yes, I'm purged. My spirit is clean and peaceful when it comes to Leslie. I said a long time ago that this person is not ready. This person is not helping themselves. They don't want to help themselves. They're still doing the same thing. They're still hanging around the same people that are tarnishing their lives, that are deterring their lives. So why should I be around? I am at peace with the situation that if this person right now, if I got a phone call right now that this person has passed away, I will not be at their funeral. I will not do that to myself. Why would I allow to see the good times in someone and then share the sadness? I don't want to share that. I'm not trying to be funny, but I don't want to even put my mind in that predicament because I was not there, or I cleansed my mind of I already did what I had to do. Why would I do that all over again? Yes, I believe. Well, yes, people believe in paying respects and stuff like that, but certain stuff like that, if I see you in a good life and I didn't see you sickly and something happened to you, I don't want to revisit those painful emotional memories and go to your funeral and allow other people's emotions to tarnish me, allow other people's emotions to affect me. You know, you go to a funeral and somebody's falling all over the casket. Yes, that's cliche, and that's not the always the perception. It could be beautiful and stuff like that, and it could be, but still, I sometimes don't look at it like that. I'd rather not go and stuff like that rather than to be dealing with other people's emotions that don't have those control. If I'm going somewhere, I know what I'm doing. I have everything in my body controlled. I know myself. So why would I go into an environment to where these people are unstable, they're not whatever like that, and then what, affect me? And then now when I leave, I'm all in a depressional state and stuff like that. I didn't have to put myself there, and I'm not going to put myself there. So yes, it might be fucked up or whatever, or you want to think about, oh, you don't go to people's funeral, you better be at my funeral or whatever like that. Certain people's, yes, because I might have to be there. My mother, my father, whoever, you know, But other people, no. If I choose not to deal with those emotions or whatever like that, and I could be in denial, maybe like that, but that's how I choose with it. That's how I choose to deal with things. Like I said, to each his own. Rather than to be all messed up and thinking about it over days and period of time or whatever like that, I can take that person and have my own memorial in my own head and choose to do things. But I choose to do things very differently, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with doing things differently. So let me just go ahead and conclude, because I can really stay on this topic uh, for a while, because it hits so much home when it comes to me, and it is something that I am very passionate about. And like I said, I struggle with my own addictions as far as sexuality, sexual and moral addictions, as well as um, drug addictions, and whatever you have struggled with in the past. Please feel free to reach out. Please feel free to ask for help. Please feel free to talk to somebody, okay? Because this is where you can start making decisions differently. That way things won't be so much harder when it's time and when you are ready to make a change, okay? So it's definitely going to be okay. Everything is going to be all right. We are living in times to where it's not the same. So much different things are perspiring on the surface. So just to conclude the Leslie story, on the main surface, we don't talk much anymore. Mutual things have set us apart, and there are times, where on social media we will um, talk and laugh briefly. However, that has not even happened lately, and it is probably due to the excessive behaviors and patterns of the addiction that she is struggling with. So I also have brought light to it to her family, and I mean, I'm not sure. Sometimes you feel as though that maybe why is the family not interceding, or why is the family not helping more? But when you have an individual that has always been suicidal, and you have an individual that has always done what they wanted to and continue to do it, and just do what they want to do, then it does become the person, and we're almost, it has to be intervention to where the person has to be addressed, saying, hey, we have noticed these things and it's time to stop, and see what happens. Different strokes for different folks. Sometimes people may not believe in the intervention, like you said. If they're not ready, they're not ready. They're not going to do, which is true. It's a mentality. They have to be ready. So that type of thing, is to each his own. However, I have played that part to where I have tried to lead people to the light, and yes, they have to be ready. So this is the conclusion of the addiction video. My name is Kareem Talvon Hutchinson. Thank you for joining Talvon Talks. And as always, growth is inevitable with life experiences, knowledge, and understanding. Have a blessed day.